Right, so you'd get into the top of the second floor and you'd come round and found the second floor stairs leading up to the third floor. Above you, it's one of those staircases that's open. So the stairs lead up and you can see the third floor ceiling above you.
Can you push them up? Because I'm not seeing it, Rich.
Yeah.
I mean, I should be able to, but I can't see is on the map. So hold thy horses and I will push said map after copying you back on. That was bizarre.
There we are.
There you are, chaps. So you're on the second floor looking up the stairs, and above you you can see the upstairs floor landing. It's got one of those railing round it like an old fashioned house. And it looks like it's going to be easy to climb up there at the same way as you got up the first set of stairs, but you're going to give yourselves a level of exhaustion by the time you've stood on each other's shoulders all the way to the top.
I should be able to do something about that.
Good, because exhaustion kind of scares me.
Right, so is there any other preparation? Or are you just starting to climb up on each other's shoulders and make a human pyramid and scramble up the stairs?
Should we check through this door first, or we're going to just run up to the roof?
I believe you've been in all of the rooms.
All right, sorry.
And the door that you can see up to the northeast is the one that you've slammed shut and left the cat in with the window open. Hopefully you haven't hurt the cat too badly.
No,
I really hope not. I'm kind of a cat person these days.
You're kind of a cat person, not as much as Bert the cat is.
Oh no, obviously Bert the cat is the cat person. He's the person who goes around killing people who are nasty at cats, and I would be with that.
With his homemade cat shelter.
Come on, guys, we should go upstairs and do this. Can't be much longer till I find the BBG. See, there you go. That was my attempt at a
metagaming much. Right, so you hand over hand up the stairs to the top landing as the DM drags you all over. Line of sight was disabled for some bizarre reason. And I will just place your tiny little bodies on the map before sharing. Right, a narrow landing lies at the top of the flight of stairs. It's edged ringed by the balusters and newel posts of a carved balustrade. What it means is there's a handrail around the top that you can see. You can look down onto the second floor. It looks like it's hundreds of feet in scale below. All have a level of fatigue.
Right. So just a moment, gentlemen. Let's have a little break. I'd like to get a sea bass out my pocket and try and cast relief.
Okay. So it's an extra -4 for the number of persons, but they can help you.
I'd like some. Yes.
Sorry, that sounds like a euphemism. That.
Can I get a pepper grinder out of my pocket and just grind some pepper on it?
Yes, we'll take some extra seasoning.
Apparently, my father has curry powder, but I've never tried it. Seems very exotic.
I have to reset your bennies. There you go. I've reset all of the bennies. Right, so can you give me some appropriate skill rolls to use the help action with Tendril here?
Well, I will use common knowledge, since obviously it's common knowledge that pepper makes everything better, and I can't think of a way to make it.
Tendril, you know what they're actually contributing their life force, and the act of them pretending to help is just involving them in the ritual. So you're actually drawing on their life force to bolster your chances.
I'm ironically drawing on their life force to relieve them of their exhaustion.
There is, yeah. Lucas immediately rolls a 2 and fails.
I'm going to roll on
Substandard pepper.
You mean it's red pepper? Who?
Magnus gets a 7. That's a +1.
What did you do? Like vault over the sea bass?
I'll throw the pepper grinder at Magnus.
Are you going to attempt to Benny that, or are you just leaving that one as a?
I'm leaving that. I mean, it's a pepper grind, dude.
Okay, so that's 2. So what's my minuses
Three.
now?
What, are you going to steal the sea bass?
Bert's got a raise, so that's a plus. Hold on. Bert's got a raise, so that's a +2, so that's a +3.
Right, so it's -1 at the minute, isn't it?
And -1 for your level of fatigue, so it's -2.
-2.
Court, are you attempting to help?
Give me that sea bass back.
Yeah. So what they're doing is involving themselves in the ritual, and you're just like siphoning off just a little bit of life force so they don't notice.
Some of us are helpful, and some of us are just trying to steal a fish.
Yeah. How are you?
Taking it to the cat.
That will feed.
Court, are you going to help in this ritual?
Yeah.
That's...
I could try and intimidate the fish.
Saves the fish.
Okay. God, I don't know what will I be rolling on, Rich?
You pick. That's Savage Worlds for you. You tell me what the story is, and then you do it.
You could roll it on persuasion, I suppose, or fighting.
But you
like an intimidation.
You know, Tendril, that basically magic is bad mojo, which is why most black magicians are reviled and hunted down by pitchfork wielding peasants, and so you're just tapping just a little bit of that life force, whereas a black magician might draw a pentagram on the floor and then just suck the life force out of a willing or unwilling victim and kill them outright.
I'll roll fighting. How would you like the fish? Battered.
It'd be like that Monty Python sketch on the side of the dock.
Right, so you're at -1.
Yep, that's fine. I'm going to look at the fish and say it looks very frightened. Right.
Yeah, the fish actually has nothing to do with the spell that you're casting. It's just a focus to get the common man to focus their willpower.
Right, spirit, that's fine. Right. Let's give it a go. A success?
It's not a success because you're at -2, you see. Oh, you're going to need to...
Oh, yeah, we'll have to Benny it then.
You'll have to Benny it.
I know I'd drag it onto there, if memory serves.
Oh,
That's a success.
That's better.
There we are. Right, a little bit of sea bass for everyone. I've cooked it. Don't question that.
Yeah, so...
A candle that looks like it's made of human tallow fat, but we'll not go there. I will accept my newly battered, half stolen, and badly peppered piece of fish.
Yeah. There we go. Everybody feels much better now.
Yeah, don't ask too many questions about it if you don't mind. That'd be fine.
He just goes, "Whoa, it's magic."
Magic. It fixes everything.
Right, so the banister at the top of the stairs there.
I'm sorry, but I want that as a message tone.
What?
Oh, it's magic.
It's like a fat Paul Daniels.
God, I love that man.
The banister around depicts a line of rats crouched in a single file. The eastern wall of the landing holds a steel door set in a bronze frame.
Very unusual decoration, isn't it?
AFK 30 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so there's a gigantic, like 100-foot high steel door with a bronze frame. There appears to be a small gap underneath it, and a large lock is visible at normal height for a normal man.
When you say small gap,
Yes, you look down and you feel that it'd be unlikely for you to fit underneath. Maybe if you stripped naked and got greased up and had several persons pushing upon your behind, you might be able to, with a bit of suckage, get underneath.
That was not the phrase I think you meant. Or was it? I, I think I'll wait here until we open that door in a different way. How did we open doors before with locks? Somebody bounce on a shoulder and try and lockpick it. We've got a thief.
Human pyramid and one of those jeweler's tools.
There we go. Let's try that again.
Right, you look at each other, ready to make this human pyramid, but two of you are carrying that large key over your shoulders, so you'll have to put that down on the floor first before you can make a human pyramid.
Does the key look like it'll fit the lock?
It does, yes. You look rather sheepishly at each other as you begin putting down the key.
Right. Is there a doorknob on this door?
There is not a doorknob on this side.
Okay. Because that would have been so easy.
Take them with you, because you keep stealing them. Just have them. Oh, and why is this in my room? This Colgate Icy Blast Whitening. Why have you left Colgate in my room?
You do not have pushed it on again.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Me? Oh, sorry, Rich.
all right.
There's a small child leaving stuff all over my desk because he uses my computer every day. I apologise. I will change that right now.
Oh, you don't have to. You just
No, I hate not having pushed
nail his feet to the floor or something.
Shall we have a mooch under the door, Andy, to see if there's a doorknob on the other side?
Aye, that's an idea. Will I fit under the door?
If you lay flat on your back, you could shoulder shuffle to get your head under the door.
Right. I'm only going far enough so I can see into the room and see if there's a doorknob on the other side of the door. And I shall ask Court, will he get hold of my ankles? And if I need to get out of there sharpish, will he sort of pull me back out?
Of course.
Thank you very much. Right, I'll
just scream.
Right, so you shoulder shuffle under the door, and get yourself under. There's no light or windows in this room. It is pitch black.
Can I hear anything then?
You do have a candle lit. You could poke that under the door. You reckon you could squeeze underneath the door, or perhaps Bert could, but you would have to strip naked of your accoutrements and to shimmy under the door.
Right. Well, I'll listen first, and if I don't hear anything, sort of anything with big teeth breathing in the dark, I shall call for the candle.
Give me a notice roll. You do not hear any things with big teeth breathing in the dark.
Well, I'll flap my hand about until somebody gives us the candle, and I shall gently poke the candle just far enough under the door to illuminate a bit of the room. Yeah,
so the candle goes under the door, but because of its tiny size, you can't see much of the room, maybe 10 or 15 scale feet, but you can just see that there's a door handle on the other side of the door, so if you unlocked it with the key, you should be able to push the door open. It doesn't look like it's a turny door handle. It's just like a screwed on one, so that whoever it is could pull the door inwards.
Is the door not open yet? This is taking some time.
Right, I shall wriggle back out and relay this to the chaps.
Will the key go under the door though?
Why does the key have to go under the door? There's a lock in the door.
Yeah, if we unlock it from this side, we should be able to shoulder it open with a bit of luck.
We could all push.
Yeah, because there is a door handle on the other side.
Ah.
Presumably that whatever lives in that room, so that it can get out, but it's harder for people to get in. I think.
Yes, it's not a turny door handle, it's just a pulley door handle. So the door obviously pushes inwards.
So if we unlock it from out here, we should be able to shoulder it open with a bit of luck.
Right, human pyramid time then.
The second best type of pyramid.
Athletics, gentlemen. Everybody forms a human pyramid, and who grabs hold of the... Oh, come off it, Earl. 23, really? No, sorry.
No, that's Magnus. I
That's
just got
a Magnus.
5. Obviously, I helped Magnus. Because,
Obviously you did.
Because of the way, obviously, the attributes work, my spellcasting ability is the same level as my athletics. That's just mean.
It is mean. Right, well... So...
Does Magnus not have enough in that?
Tendril, it fails again, and you go all wobbly as people clamber up you, particularly Magnus,
Whoopsie.
who scrambles up the outside of this extremely wobbly pyramid and grabs the key, holds it sort of like a two-handed spear as he wobbles backwards and forwards in front of this large keyhole. Magnus, can you make me an athletics roll to get the key in? Because the whole pyramid's tilting backwards and forwards. And
can I reach up and help him?
I may need to Benny that, mightn't I?
You may need to Benny that. Yeah, you can roll a help action, Lucas, with athletics or anything else.
I will use athletics.
Right, so you get a +1, so that's a 4. So you start to lose your balance and start to windmill your arms a little bit. But Lucas reaches up, and as you put your foot back to fall, he grabs hold of your foot with the palm of his hand, supporting you, and you manage to slide the key in. And you turn it, and there's a loud to your ears clunk as the tumblers fall in place.
I'll wince when it goes clunk.
It's probably only a scraping noise like a key, but to your tiny ears, for some reason, the way physics works in Lankhmar, like in the stories, everything sounds louder when you're smaller, and voices sound squeakier. Yes. Right, so you've turned the key, and this teetering pyramid, you managed to scramble down before anybody falls over.
I need to talk to you. It's all very important, boys.
Yeah.
Tendril, you're going to know where I'm coming from here. I've just thought, I know we're trying to get unmoused, okay? But can you imagine how long it'll take us to drink 1 pint of beer? Our living expenses will be very, very low. Like an entire fish could last us a month. We just need to find a bar that'll serve us. This could be a good way forward in life.
We'd have to have some very tiny cutlery.
Yes, but I could be Ratman and you could be my musketeers.
Or even better, I could shrink all my cats and have more room for more cats.
Exactly.
You get a penny for that.
You may want to.
You get a penny for that.
Who? Me.
Bert.
But Bert, you may have to think that it probably is important that we shrink your cats.
Actually, I'm
before we do anything else, because I have a feeling the cats might be a problem for us.
Don't shrink the litter, though, and then you'll save on that.
Well, exactly. This is a financially brilliant idea. I believe they've made a film about this. It's called downsizing, and we've downsized.
Court will wrestle the worm into killer pottle. Caught like this.
Yeah, we could literally rule the world on a very small scale. It'd be quite easy to hide. They wouldn't see us coming. Might take us a while to hurt anybody, but I mean, we get them in their sleep, which, big pointy sword in the jugular. Just a thought, anyway.
Right. Do you have any other light sources other than a candle? The big problem with Lankhmar is most people are human, and even those that they're not can't see in the dark. Have you got lanterns?
Well, I got a bullseye lantern thing.
Excellent. I guess that means you're going first.
Good
I've got
plan.
a torch and
I'm willing to lend it to somebody.
I have a torch. I will
flint
light
and
a torch
steel.
since I'm using a rapier and nothing else. So I will light the torch off the candle.
Very well. So I guess it's just shoving this door then, eh? So you need a standard success on strength, but everybody can roll in to help. And it's only if you roll a critical fumble. Oh, look at that.
Strength.
Yes, Lucas puts his shoulder and actually moves it himself.
Strunk.
We have
I'm
many.
the rat man.
The unused doors for several years creak slightly as you manage to push the door open and then look inside the darkened room.
I shall ready the crossbow. Just in
I'm
case.
sure that you will. I need to move Magnus the Swiftish out of the way. There you go, because the door is shut. Right. So, who's going where then? You push the door open. You see in the south end of the room a gigantic desk covered in all manner of alchemical appliances. Gigantic to your side, of course. Side of yours, of course.
Well, obviously, as the rat man, I will protect Tendril, who might be the only one to work out what all this shit is for. Because to me, just like tasty, delicious sauces in bottles.
Right,
Although,
so
granted,
let me...
Tendril, it may well look like tasty, delicious sauces that are in bottles.
It is entirely possible. Could somebody go and fetch me some of these to have a little look at?
I believe they're quite big.
Could you have you,
Hang about.
go and read them from up there? I'm not straining my eyesight for this.
Right, so as you come through the door, bickering as you go,
What the hell is that in the darkness?
the windowless chamber lies behind the door. Strange depressions are visible in the tiled floor, each the size of a large round shield and nearly 3 inches deep to your point of view. 3 foot deep to your point of view. A work table with various alembics, crucibles, glass tubing, and other esoteric objects runs along the southwest corner of the room. A brick chimney lacking a hearth protrudes from the eastern wall. A minute steel door standing 6 feet high to your scale is set into the chimney at ground level. A stuffed, dust-coated alligator hangs from the ceiling suspended by ropes moved to the west wall. A tiny shelf also runs along the baseboard of the west wall. A line of little white bottles, sized for miniature hands, rests under a blanket of dust on the shelf. Standing motionless inside the room is a bronze giant. The humanoid figure appears fashioned from brazen plates and gears. Its eyes glow a pale blue in the gloom.
That might not be a good idea.
At the very other end of the room, you see a closed door.
Can I roll academia? to know
Who
if
else
I
is
know what that-
who else is coming
Sorry.
into the room? Because you're all stood
I'm
outside
not
it.
in there yet, am I?
I will go in the room because obviously I am the
You see them freeze as they go into the room.
not having that. I'm the rat man. I'm rat man.
I'm right, man.
I need to creep across to that little shelf on the western wall and say about obtaining some of these little bottles.
Can I roll academics to see whether or not I know what that thing is, that bronze statue?
Indeed, please roll academics. The blue glow in its eyes just pulses ever so slightly. A 6.
That must have passed.
You have heard that in the Eastern lands it's possible for them to build automata powered by cogs and steam instead of by good old-fashioned magic, like any proper automata should be powered.
Oh, that sounds quite dangerous.
I'm going to relay it that there was some sort of possibly a mechanical man over there. Well, let's just say it doesn't work for sandwiches. I don't think we're gonna have to be very careful in case it activates a bit more.
You work with sandwiches, don't you, Tendril?
Well, I'm particularly fond of a nice cheese wrap or
Do
delicious.
I happen to have, since I am of noble birth and secret, do I happen to have a nice napkin wrapped ham and cheese sandwich inside my pocket?
I would say
I
that
will spend a penny for this if you will.
if
not
you
give
want
me.
to spend a penny, yes, then indeed you can. You just drop the penny out.
Spend a penny. I will reach out of my pocket and just absent-mindedly hand Tendril a very nice. In fact, since I bought one today, a ham and cheese wrapped warm croissant.
Oh, well, very international.
Yeah, so this shelf, Andy, that you're looking at is over here, along that wall there.
Right. Well, in that case, what I want to try and do is to climb up very slowly, quietly, stealthily, and craftily onto these shelves that's like the L shape and creep along them.
Absolutely. Give me an athletics check for climbing. A 5, yes. With little inconvenience to you, you managed to shimmy hand over hand, you being the stick and story man that you are, and end up onto the table above.
So, kind of, this is where I want to go. Hang on, if I can just get hold of me little bloke. Sort of creeping quietly like that.
Make a stealth roll then.
Okie dokie.
A 4 barely, so you sneak in between the gigantic bottles, easily twice the height of you, and that one that you see on the top there lying on its side, as you push past it, it starts to roll and rolls towards the edge, but you just manage to grab the neck in time and look down over the top to see the other 4 sort of looking at you, but you manage to steady it and head to the end of the large workbench. Below you, you can see the smaller workbench with the small white bottles in.
Do I reckon that I'm going to have to climb down onto that smaller workbench to get them?
The smaller workbench is sized for the size that you are, so you would have to climb down and then it'll come up to your waist kind of thing.
Well, I'd better do that then.
You peer into the darkness. You're barely illuminated by the light of the lantern and the candles because it's so big. The distances are so vast. You see the depressions in the floor there, and just the pale blue light. There's also a faintly mechanical as the lights go slightly brighter and then dim again in the eye sockets.
If I climb down the edge of that workbench, do I reckon from the floor I'll be able to reach the bottles on the workbench without moving any further forward?
You will have to move forward. You can move stealthily, like against the back wall, like right. Pressing yourself firmly against the back wall. It hasn't moved or done anything other than blink its tiny blue eyes. Well, gigantic blue eyes.
Right.
In between croissant crumbs, just go shout, be very careful around that metalman. Potentially very dangerous.
I intend.
And you are shouting this, are you?
Yes. Oh.
Everybody winces as your tiny little squeaky voice echoes around the quiet room.
I'm sure this will be perfectly fine. It probably doesn't have ears.
There's a and the lights go bright, and then sort of dancing beams come out of them and seem to scan around the room. dancing around in front of you, and then there's another,
Okay.
and the blue lights start to slowly pulse again as the beams are cut off. Right, Andy, do you want to climb down with your climbing skill?
I'm going to whisper to somebody next to me. Well, that wasn't wrong. That is dangerous.
Oh, easy peasy. Look at all of those. Oh, boy. 20, yeah. So you shimmy hand over hand without any difficulty down to the floor.
And do I need to stealth across?
You do. Well, you don't need to. You can just brazenly walk across the floor if you want to. Right. So you like a ghost, you slip across the floor to the smaller workbench sized for your sized creatures. You see 10 milky white portions inside of little bottles sized to your size.
I will whisper to who's next to me. Is it not a bit suspicious that they're in our size?
It's like what was written in the book. He's made some growth potions for the rats.
Is there anything written on any of the bottles that I can see?
Frantically looking, it doesn't appear so.
Am I able to very carefully gather them up one at a time and kind of wrap one in like wrap them all together one at a time in me cloak so that, well, no, in the empty sack that I always carry for this sort of thing, so that they don't go chink chink chink?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a stealth test, to be fair.
How about?
Only just. There's a tiny tink as two of the glass tops clink together, but it's so minor. You look up at the bronze giant with the blue eyes, but it does nothing. So you gather them up into your cloak and creep back to the others.
Yep, I'll go back the way I came if that's all right.
Absolutely, you can do that. You've already made your rolls for that, so you get back to the others without any further incident. I don't need to punish you unnecessarily.
In that case, I shall very carefully unwrap the sack and hand the bottles out. Do they all look exactly the same?
Yes, they're all identical with
Right.
an unhealthy looking white milky liquid in, and they're all covered in a thick layer of dust.
Right.
Is there anything written on them?
No.
I shall hand this over to Master Tendril, who might know more about these than me.
Oh. Can I roll Academia to see if I recognize it from the bottle?
You can do, but it's unlikely. It's not a standard portion that you've encountered, and because of the alchemical gear on the workbench above you, it's probable that it's something that this gentleman has brewed himself.
Does there appear to be any books?
There are no books in here. There were several books downstairs, and I believe you grabbed a journal.
Portions that Andy got.
No.
Can somebody look through the journal? Wow, it's very large though, isn't it?
Yeah, you didn't have it with you. It was a big journal. You sort of turned the pages by standing on the book and curling the page back like it was a big blanket.
That, this, I'm not going to know what it is. So I've got an entirely new creation. It might be in that journal downstairs, but
Well, I guess two choices. We either go all the way back downstairs, or I'll just drink one.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Governor, is where you're going to get the extra mass from if it makes you big again.
That's going to be a problem, boys.
I don't know about you, but I think I might be a bit svelte.
Maybe we need to go downstairs, step in these big puddles of, where we originally are, and drink some.
We could take it off someone else. I mean, how does magic work? I don't know.
Well, based on what we saw earlier, our excess mass was distributed across puddles. Suppose potentially that could be reutilized. Might be a bit dirty. We could just drink bleach on the insides. It cleans you of everything.
Now, that's what
Listen, Trumpy.
Trumpy said. You don't want to take what he says.
Trumpy's a bit weird in there, isn't he?
He's the head of a college of black magic. Yes, you're right.
Oh dear, Rich, I'm sorry. We just made the head of the Black Magic Guild called Trumpy now.
It's probably just a nickname because of his massively overly large nostrils resembling trumpets because of the
and the
effect.
fact that he has a living animal living upon his head.
Yes. And
I heard he's very fond of playing the trumpet.
deeply
That is also true.
deeply orange.
I did hear that he does like grabbing cats.
But you better have a word with him.
Well,
we've got that door ahead of us. I think there's a good likelihood that that's primed to go off if we get there, based on what we've already seen as well.
I mean, we could stab the giant thing to death with weapons. That's never a bad idea.
We probably need to get into that room, but we're going to have to stealth it.
Well, since you're so stealthy, Henry,
Mm-hmm.
a slight man of an amazing dexterity and agility.
If I could.
you're a man of many bennies, Tendril.
A man of many bennies.
What's the? Yes, another. Right.
Tendril hasn't had food in the last 10 minutes, so he's obviously started talking to himself.
I've spent a penny. Can I have a small pork pie in my pocket as well?
You can, yes.
I will hand him a small pork pie, but
I'll
I'll do
kind
it
of
really
absent-mindedly.
nonchalantly, as if, everyone carries a handful of wrapped up vol-au-vents and stuff in their pockets from their father's shindigs, and hand him a pork pie.
I will take it and kind of just thank you, but barely kind of just hand out, still thinking ahead.
I'll turn around and go, we need an answer for this Tendril. I am down to 3 vol-au-vents and a small cheese savoury.
Oh, I have terrible news.
Oh, Rich, I love this fucking party so much.
Alright. Can I cast Detect Arcana to see if it gives me, because it detects all supernatural persons, objects, and effects. We know that that's an enchanted golem thing, but would it? I'm just trying to weird science devices. Would it allow me to know either what's in the bottle or how to get past that golem?
No, it wouldn't. It just detects Arcana. And it's possible from what you've heard of the Men of the East that it may be an entirely mechanical thing. It's unnatural to a man of the magical arts for such a thing to exist.
Well, I think if we're going to get over to that other room, lads, I'll say lads as if I've never said the word lads before. I'm trying to come down to their level.
I'll turn around and go, I'll turn around and go, chaps.
Chaps. Yes. Well, everybody here's what they want. We're just gonna have to get past that bloody thing, aren't we?
Carefully.
Maybe we could cause some sort of distraction across the other side of the room if we can get over to the other side and stealth it all up. The inside of my robes are black. If I turn them inside out, maybe I look more like a street ninja.
There doesn't seem to be anything in the room that you could possibly cause a distraction with.
Well,
Other than the giant stuffed alligator hanging from the ceiling by a rope.
I don't need glass.
we could take, see if we get one of those glass bottles or whatever it is off the side, take it back into where the stairs and drop it off the stairs.
Wait a
Well-
minute. I have a plan.
Oh,
We got a
dear
barrel.
At
God.
least an idea for a diversion.
The
What
best time.
about if I was to climb up onto the alligator, and I'm presuming because it's like a large stuffed alligator, it would be suspended by a couple of ropes. If I cut one of them, and it'll go with a bit of luck, it'll go swinging straight across into that golem. That should be a bit of a distraction.
Is a stuffed alligator likely to hurt a golem, or I suppose it could do. It might be better if we're all trying to get across at the same time, and then you do it so it distracts it from attacking us.
Well, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, at the
Well,
same time.
What about those depressions in the floor?
I check on that.
I have a feeling they're significant, but I cannot work out how.
Maybe they pour these gunk into it and the rats would stand in, and that's where they'll get the extra mass from.
If it does come to life, because it's some sort of security system, if we can get it out the door, maybe we could lock the door behind it.
Or topple it down the stairs. We could create some sort of.
Does anyone have
Close
200
this
ball
down.
bearings knocking around?
Funny you should say
Sadly
that,
not.
but no.
But I've got a.
I don't even know what a bearing is.
I've got a piece of rope we could make a tripwire at the top of the stairs with.
Alas, your rope is to scale, Andy. So if you've got 50 feet of rope, you've got 50 inches of rope.
Aye.
Should we? Out of character, I'm wondering if we should pour a little bit. Do you think we should pour a little bit of this potion on something and see if it rebiggins it?
Oh, give me it. I'll snatch it and say I'll drink it.
On you go, son.
Is this the embiggen portion, we think?
We really don't know.
It's milky white liquid. It literally could be anything.
The last time I drank milky white liquid was at my cousin Arthur's party, and it was not what I thought. And I'll swig it.
Oh shit! Right, you take a swig of the milky liquid. It's got an unusual flavour, and it's kind of got the slimy texture of drinking an oyster.
As long as it's not salty.
Oh, this sounds like what my wife says to me quite regularly. Keep going, Rich.
And and you look at the others, but nothing untoward seems to happen. Beneath your feet, the wooden floorboards start to crack and bend.
Oh, that's not good. I'll turn around to Tendril and go, it's not as good for your skin as we claim."
You look down at Tendril as you're about twice the height of Tendril, and his voice is starting to sound a little squeaky.
There's one good thing though. It means the pork pie's gonna last longer.
Now you can see
What's the
the
vol-o-vol?
floor, the wood floor is blackening, and as Lucas starts to grow, it's as if the matter around him is soaking up, and the floor is creating a big hole, and it seems to all be flown into him, making up the mass. You suddenly realise that the closest thing to him for organic mass would probably be you
I'm
four.
running away.
So-
I'll move first.
You start to sprint. You feel an unusual tugging at your bodies as this realization comes upon you, and you start to sprint out of the steel door. Right, the cracking of the floorboards goes out in a line to the steel door, Lucas, and it starts to suck part of the steel up as if it was melted wax, and that seems to be going into your weapons to make them big. What about the rest of you running? I know
Yeah.
Bert's running.
Very much so. As fast as they can actually
Rich,
roll
I
down the stairs or
volleyball.
away.
If I
Right.
don't drop a volleyball, I'm done.
So you run out of the door. The door is partially sucked into Lucas. Several of the bottles collapse onto the floor as he absorbs part of the wood. The wood is being sucked and burnt away. The alligator starts to sway backwards and forwards in the roof as he seems to be absorbing.
Alligator.
You appear out of breath at full size, Lucas. The bronze automata, which is now the same size as you, the lights flash and it says, "Intruders."
Oh, shit.
So that worked, Lucas.
Right, the mini earthquake subsides and the door is partially melted. Some of the brickwork has actually ran and melted, and there's a great blackened section of wooden floor around Lucas that apparently is now at least partially made up of wooden floor, has blackened around him, and you stand on the edge of this, and the giant that is Lucas towers above you, looking a little perturbed.
Right. Can I move into that corner, Rich?
You can.
And neck a portion.
Oh shit! Right, so you start pulling up the stairs, the floor, part of the wall, and some of the steel door. But again, the three of you that are standing about are all look like you might be sucked up into Magnus's tour here at this point.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
right.
running into the room.
I'm rather hoping that if I sort of I cannot think about to put it, but sort of get hold of the wall, sort of cuddle the wall, I might manage to sort of suck a hole through the wall.
I've thought of a way to kill this
By
guardian thing.
absorbing it.
Yeah,
Go
little
for it.
person jumps on with a bottle, hangs on, takes a swig, it'll suck it and hopefully destroy it.
Right.
Court
So
game
what we
for
got?
that.
What we're going to do now is I'm going to deal some cards. So Andy's neck portion has started growing. Lucas, you've grown to full size. It's an unusual feeling the floorboards being sucked up through your boots and through your feet and into yourself. And
That party.
you stand out of breath, normal size in the room, and the bronze giant is now just a size of a normal suit of armor. But now he's got stats and stuff. Boom! He's not as gigantic and imposing as he was.
I look across at Lucas. When we get out of this, I'm going to tell Lord what's his name to stick his bird cage up his arse.
I kind of agree with you, mate. I'm going to chuck the thing into little small pieces.
Right, Magnus. You begin to grow this round. It's going to take a full round for you to grow, but you do have a joker this round. So you hug the wall.
Right.
You see, you're now twice the size of the others. You see them scattering. As Bert the cat, who was the closest to you, seems to be looking down at the floor, and the wood is splintering under his feet, and it looks like he's being sucked towards you with a horrified look on his face, but then he manages to start running.
Just going to say, I shall whisper to Bert so as not to burst his eardrums. Run away.
But this great booming voice comes out, run away. Caught. Witnessing this awful transformation.
Right. Who's got the potions?
Everybody's got a potion.
Got a potion. Right.
The problem
now-
seems to be the lack of actual mass around here. The steel door is about a third melted away completely, and there are great portions of the floor that have weakened the floorboards, and you can actually see holes in it in some parts. Where there were dead rats underneath the floorboards between the levels, they've been sucked up and absorbed into here, and part of the walls melted.
Chances are that suit of armor is going to be really, really heavy.
Pretty much. If
So-
you want to do your plan, when I've grown to full size, I'll carry you across if that helps.
Well, I was going to say if the biggies start going down the stairs, so the suit goes after them down the stairs, I can jump on it from the stairs. You know, from like higher on the
Right.
landing.
As you're saying this, Tendril and Bert, you're having to hold your hands over your ears as these great booming. Court's only little, isn't he?
Yeah.
Is this a really squeaky voice that I can't make out?
Yeah, you can barely make it out.
Oh,
It's and it sounds like a bunch of rats talking. Magnus, you lose the
Rats are
ability.
awful.
You lose the ability to understand these three, because when they speak, it just sounds like rats squeaking. Again, it's new on physics, so they just got at you.
Being Lucas the Bravo, I'm going to do the stupid thing and smack in the face.
Right, so you can move up to your pace, sir. Up to your pace, I say. Or you can run.
I will walk slowly forward with my heavy rapier out and go, "Hi, you varlet! You will not
Right.
threaten my friends."
Excellent. You're not up though. Court, what are you doing? Are you just running?
I am going. Is the stairs, where I am now, is that like the top level of the stairs and it goes down, or is it the other way around?
Where you are now, right, is you look down and it's one of those staircases where it doesn't have a piece of ceiling above the stairs. So if you jumped, you would actually fall two flights of stairs.
Right. So all right. So that plan won't work. If the armor walks down the stairs, I'll be able to jump on it if I work out the height.
Right. In a few short seconds, Magnus won't be able to understand you anymore. Is there anything you're saying? Otherwise, I'm moving on to the next player because you are small and squeaky.
I can pick you up
No.
and carry you to it if you want.
Well, it'll probably attack you.
Well, I know, but I'm going to go and clobber it anyway.
All right. Okay.
Okay, right. It is the bronze giant's turn, so it runs towards you. Well, it's now the bronze man, and it runs towards you. It reaches you and raises its great clubbed fist. You can hear the whir of clockwork underneath the bronze exterior.
Rich,
My
can I just
squeaky
ask you-
voice will shout up, "Put some jam in its gears, but not all the jam."
What exactly does a joker mean?
Joke means you can go at any time, so you can interrupt at any time without penalty.
Right, so could I scoop Court up as I'm passing?
Yeah.
So effectively, I want to be kind of there, but scoop him up as I'm passing.
Yes.
And then I can just sort of place him on its shoulder and then set about it.
It sounds reasonable. I'll make you make a roll to get it on its shoulder, though. But yeah, I would allow that.
Well, it at least on it somewhere so he doesn't fall off. What sort of roll would you like me to make?
Well, you can grab Court fine because as this big hand comes down, if Court is going to jump into your palm and hang onto one of your fingers, is that correct?
Yeah, basically.
Court,
Yeah,
is that
I think-
correct? Yeah. So you grab. he grabs you and he drags you into this room. You narrowly miss stepping on Tendril, who goes at you as you run past. And then you need to make, I would say, an agility roll.
Right, agility.
If you fumble now, it's going to go bad. Oh, 1 and a 4, but you got your joker bonus. Right, so yes, you can run up to it as it is intent on beating Lucas's face in. And where do you put Court? Just drop it on its shoulder?
Well, I sort of place him on its shoulder. And then, can I hit it?
You absolutely can.
Right. I am going to. Where are we? I'm going to brass knuckle it alongside the head.
Right, you get the gang up bonus because Lucas is there. You hit. There's a great gong noise. As you strike it, go on, roll your damage.
Oh, right, shit, hang on. Completely forgot.
Unharmed, right? You punch it on the side of the head. There's a great gong noise, but it doesn't seem to have even dented it. Left maybe a little scratch.
Ah.
Right, it's the giant's turn.
I'm rather hoping I can distract it for long enough for Court to try his part of the plan.
That sounds reasonable. Lucas, it raises its mighty bronze arms above you and takes a swing. That is the
I will make myself look big.
Right, I changed the size of that, however.
Oh, wait a minute.
That was an incorrect roll. Because it's no longer huge. What I should have done is made two different things. Right, I'll try that again, shall we? See what happens. Yeah, that's better. So it gets a 5 to hit. Right. The great arm comes down, you step to the side, and there's a great crash as it misses you.
I'll turn around and look at it in the angle. I'm Ratman.
And the Red Man. It misses. Next actor is Bert. Wee tiny Bert.
Well, I'll move into the room and then move back to the wall there.
You can only move 1 square because you're tiny. So
All right,
you can move to there.
Okay.
Unless you run, and then I'll let you run and use 2 squares.
No, I'll just walk. I'm not in a hurry to die.
Tendril.
Right. I'm not increasing mass when there's nothing to increase mass with. So I am also all 3 of them are now large, aren't they? Lucas, Court,
no, the 2 of them are large.
So who isn't large yet? Court.
Court's not large. Tendril and Bert.
Right. Okay. I'm going to move back into the room, but kind of go into this bottom corner.
Right, so you only get 1 square with you only being tiny and running across the floor.
Uncle, you're awesome.
Who's awesome?
Morgan says all his uncles are awesome, and I've adopted you all as children's uncles.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Right, so you huff and puff 1 square as you run across the floor. If you wish to run, then you can move another square.
Can I then do an action after that or not?
You can. You just click the run button in the bottom corner. Yeah, it runs.
Can I scream turn it into cheese?
Right, I would like to. The only thing I can't find anything on range in these spells. Range is smarts. That's a weird range.
Yeah, so if you've got a D6 in smarts, it's got 6 feet of range.
Right. So
But
can
to
I
you,
can-
that is only
Yeah.
6 inches of range.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be close enough to anyone.
No,
Right. Okay.
this is a bit ruddy inconvenient, isn't it? Drinking
yes,
just randomly
well,
drinking the potions.
at this point, I will just pull out a packet of caviar flavored quavers and continue to watch.
Lucas the Bravo.
I will stab it in the face because I am that kind of guy.
Go ahead. Stab away, target it, and then stab the little thing.
Targeted.
I have targeted it. Go on. Roll your stab skill. Critical failure. Oof. Right, so you can't bend your crit failure. No, you can't bend your crit failure, I'm afraid.
I feel bad.
So you
Have I at least targeted it, taunted it in some way?
your blade scrapes along the edge and chips the point off. Bugger, he says. And because you're only doing one action, that's the end of your turn. Remember, if you want to do more than one action, you can, but you've got a cumulative penalty. Also, I discovered
something as part of my action to
you
say
can.
whoops.
If you click on the effects button in the top right hand corner,
No, I just want to say whoops.
right? Everybody, and then there are the different maneuvers you can do. So you can actually, for tougher monsters, you can use gang up or you can use taunt. And what you do is you just click that effect button, and then the modifier button in the bottom will automatically add the modifier. So when you roll, it'll take it off. Right. So they are handy to have. That is the end of your turn. New round. Magnus the Swiftish, not so Swiftish, goes first.
Right. Hang on a second. I am going to. Right, I'm going to pull out my dagger and short sword and attack it twice.
Right, so in the bottom, you click the one action button so it turns to 2 actions.
Yeah, and I'm going to be using close fighting.
Okay.
So I can get right in among it.
And what does close fighting do?
Close fighting is the one that. Wait a minute, where are we? Close fighters move inside most weapons' reach, adding their bonus to their parry equal to the enemy weapon's reach +1 for that particular foe.
Right, so you've got a +2 to your parry then.
Right.
So it's harder for it to hit you.
Right. Right, well, here we go. Here's the first one.
It's a hit. The giant does not seem hard to hit. Oh, so close. Again, that scrapes off the... It scrapes off the giant.
Well, we'll have to try the dagger.
And that one misses. It glances off without even doing any damage.
Right. I suspect belting it with things is not really going to help.
Lucas. The man of metal attempts to bash your head in with its bare fists.
I'm not going to have that.
What are you doing then?
I will try to get out of the way of whatever he's doing.
Well, it's your turn, so you can stab him or...
I will stab him, but can I make 2 actions to
Yeah, you just click the action button at the bottom.
Can I make a parry with the second action?
Yes. What does parry do?
I have no idea.
Is it an ability?
I don't know. I just don't want to be hit in the face by a giant robot of death. I will dodge with my second action because I am that kind of guy.
Defend is parry +4.
That'll do, mate. I missed him.
You
Got him.
miss.
Can I make a Benny with that?
So you're defending with the second action. You can just drag the Benny onto your weapon skill. You don't ever have to ask if you can Benny. You can always Benny as many times as you like.
I try to be consistent. I've missed again. I am bad at this game.
You're consistent at missing.
Very consistent at missing. But what I'm actually doing is purposefully tying the combat so you guys can finish it off. And if anyone asks me, I will swear that that's the truth.
What I'm just doing is making Andy a quick close fighting. But should be the same as defend, parry +2. Need a space in there. And that should... Aha, right, that should work. Right, so you miss, you rally yourself, you try to hit again and miss again. Right. But the cat.
She'll move forward 1 and try and hit it with my sling.
Right, so your sling has a range of what?
It says 4, 8, 16.
So it's at long range, so you are at minus. Right, Dave, so if you click the modifiers button, sorry, not the effect, click the modifiers button in the top right hand corner. Do you see it?
I'll say modify button bottom left corner.
Yeah, well, there's a button in the top right hand corner. You know where the party sheet and that is? It's got the plus minus next to it. If you click that, it opens a box up with all of the actions you can take. So if you click the long range, it's at minus. It'll automatically apply a -4 to your modifier box. And no, you can't have a 3-round burst before you ask.
Right, I'll have a go.
Range long, thief +1. You get a 1. You miss badly. You miss so bad that small children will mock you on street corners. Right, caught the street tough.
Right. I hold on and I swig my potion.
Right, you drink the potion. There's a metallic screech as you start to grow. Unfortunately, it's not just individual molecules. You have to suck up part of the type. So you start to absorb part of the metal man for things like belt buckles and weapons and things like that. But you also start sucking up the floorboards for your organic material. And over the course of the round, you start to grow. The metal man starts losing his hide and reducing his toughness. So I'm going to reduce his armor and I'm going to reduce his toughness. For now, As you can see, part of his shell dissolving. Underneath, you can see the actual clockworks and gears driving. Part of his face is melted off, revealing a horrific sight of cogs and blue glowing LEDs. And that's Court's turn at Tendril.
I am going to keep moving. So I can only move as. Do I press run now?
You can, yes, hit your run in case you do an action.
Right. I want to move along the bench.
Aha, I like that.
Yeah, so that I'm not going to get squished.
Right, you run across the big floor. The sounds of battle are deafening. There's grinding metal squeaks and clang of blades and things bouncing off this metal man. And is that all you're doing?
Would there be enough organic material in the workbench?
Possibly. However, it just seems to take from the closest, and once you start growing, you're right next to Lucas.
Yeah,
So you might suck a leg off or something. That would be unfortunate, wouldn't it?
Well, especially with there be no source. Yes, I will just keep going with what I was doing.
Right, the bronze giant attacks you, Lucas, screaming and waving its arms about. Ooh, that's a hit with a raise. Oh, that's 3 wounds. That's going to put you down, Lucas. I think you need to Benny that, my old son. Can you see the wounds on the combat tracker or not? Earl?
Yes.
It does have 3 on it.
If you drop a Benny on the
Is it like a blood drop with a 3 on it?
yeah, it's on. It should be on the combat tracker. You should be able to Benny that.
Look. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Can't go for 2, so I got 2 wounds.
Yes, you can try and Benny it, soak it again if you like, or you can just take the 2 wounds.
Did it seem like that was like a really good attack from it, or was it a minor attack?
That seemed like it was a pretty good attack from it.
Okay, again.
I think we need to try and force it back into one of those depressions where the floorboards are already weakened with a bit of luck it'll fall through.
So-
Good idea.
No, you're better off taking the 2 wounds. I mean, you can try again, but
No,
you'll be completely out of wounds.
Be manly about it, because I'm the red man.
Right, I'll just take that wound off you because I don't know why it took the wounds, because you soaked one, so you've taken 2 wounds. You're not incapacitated either.
Can I say, are you skin sheet?
You can, as this almost irresistible metal arm beats down upon you, and
Rich, we grew up in the same turn in town. In the rule of skin sheet, you can't hit me again next turn because that's the law.
it is the rule of skin cheese. Yeah. Next up, we have Lucas the Bravo. You're unshaken because you were shaken by the sheer force of this blow. It looks like the creature has had part of its metal skin poked away and revealing its inner clockworkings by Court, who's now the size of a small child, hanging on its back as part of its metal skin is being pulled away from it.
I will scream the war cry of stab it in the fucking head, and then I will stab it with my heavy rapier. But I'll scream that at Court because I'm not expecting to finish it myself.
Go on then.
Oh my god.
Even with you've got 2 wounds, but you have gang up bonus, and sadly you miss.
And it used me last.
No, you need that
No.
soak. You need that
Yeah.
soak. You're not instantly killed if you run out of wounds. You're just unconscious and out of the fight, and then you find out after the fight what happened. All right.
Single may well
Caught
beat me.
the street tough. You finally grow to your full size. The skin of the robot has been sucked away. The floorboards beneath you and the wall are all cracked and weakened, and you can hear groaning noises from the floorboards below you.
Can I take a step back and with my iron shod club try and smash the floor directly underneath this guy
Good
to
lad.
break the wood so it just falls through?
Absolutely, I would totally allow that. So you,
Because I'm behind him, can I use the drop?
uh,
Because I've got the drop on him.
I'll allow the drop because you're aiming at the floor.
Just do a click on the drop thing.
No, you don't go on effects. You go on modifiers. +4 attack damage, ignore vulnerable. So, I think I'll put the drop on you. There you go. Just roll a weapon attack without the. Don't target the beast because you're targeting the floor. Oh, look at that one. Sheesh. Right. Yeah, roll your damage. And you get an extra dice for the raise. So that's
Genuinely
8.
hit them.
And an extra d6. Right, that's enough. So you swing down at the weakened floor beneath him. There's a loud crack, and the floor gives out, and the metal man crashes down through the floor to the floor below, and you just hear silence. And there's a big hole in the floor now.
I shall go over and clap Court on the shoulder. Well done, brother.
I'll turn around and go, thanks.
I'll squeak something up at them.
I
think we should lock the door behind us.
Ow!
Stairs if it's not dead.
The door behind you now is about half of it is gone, melted away. It looks like a melted candle.
Turn around to Court and go, I'm sorry, mate. I had to call Skin Cheese because there was no chance of me surviving another hit. I'm genuinely sorry, my friend. Right, that was Skin Cheese.
Yeah, the mouse man looks pretty badly beaten up.
I assume we both look pretty fecked up.
So what do? You've still got 2 tiny people.
I suggest that the 3 of us who have grown back to normal size retreat to the far end of the room, and then the other 2 drink their potions over there so they can absorb the stuff that's on that bench and whatnot.
You should have a look in that little door first.
Should do that first, should we?
There's a door in that chimney breast just by Locust there, and then there's this door, and I thought once we're all normal size, then we'll tackle that big door. But I just figured that the 3 of us who have grown ought to move out of range.
Yeah.
Lest we get sucked up.
Lankhmar physics. I love it. It works because it's not physics.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I'm fine with that, but I can't communicate it.
Right, so you step back out of the way, to cut a long story short, and you 2 spread out, and you suck up even more of the floor, leaving a big hole in the floor where the metal man had fell through, Bert. And Tendril, you suck up almost all of the bench, quite a lot of the glass, and any organic matter that seems to be nearby, leaving the house quite the state, and you appear out of breath back at your normal size in these positions.
I look down and go, oh, well, it's a bit of a shame. I was an easy diet, I thought, but never mind.
I'll turn around and go, my friend, there is no such thing as an easy diet.
Bloody useless magic.
Are you using magic to try and lose weight? Because I don't think you need to. You look quite stylish at your age.
Well, thank you.
I know, speak the truth.
Right, so what do you want to do? You've got a normal sized door in the northeastern part of the room and a tiny steel door in the hearth next to Lucas.
A tiny one.
Yeah, somebody check the tiny one.
I'm going to cover Magnus because, you
Well,
know.
it's going to be a bit difficult to check the tiny one, isn't it? We'll be able to open it, but not get through.
The tiny steel door appears locked. You can make a strength roll if you like.
Oh, all right. I'll go over there and have a look.
That would be full of rats to get in and
You've
out.
got a crowbar, presumably, so you
Yep.
ease the crowbar behind the door. And you fairly tear it off its hinges, and beneath the tiny steel door, you get down on your hands and knees and shine your candle down. There's a small corridor that leads to a set of stairs that starts heading down. It looks like the stairs run down the side of the walls in the house.
Ratway.
I think you are correct, sir. We ought to investigate this door and see if that bloody bird cage is in there.
Yes, we've gone through quite enough for tonight, I think. Best to get home, put your feet up, and have a nice pipe.
Both questions, obviously. You
Very
can't
well.
go.
The door is locked, but it looks like a reasonably easy lock for you larcenous chaps to pick.
Oh, I'll say if I can pick it. That would be thievery, is it?
It is, yes. Thievery.
Thievery.
Yeah. Not hard. Now that you're back to full size, you slip your lockpicks in. The door easily clicks open.
Yeah.
And inside, the room contains a bricked up hearth and chimney, a broad dusty floor, and a long narrow table hidden under a shroud of cobweb. A small cage suitable for containing small pets rests atop the table, with minuscule unmoving figures contained within the cage. The dust is unmarked with footprints.
I shall creep stealthily across the way. That's all right.
You creep across the room, seeing only what I've described. And what about the rest of you? You do not creep so stealthily. The upper floor seems badly damaged.
Yes, I'm going to have to do it
It's creeping.
daintily.
Yeah. What about the rest of you, chap?
I'd like to go into that room, but presuming I can't go all the way yet.
You can move your pace. If you run, you can use pace plus your run die.
I'm just going to hiss quietly as a whisper back towards the rest of the chaps. Found it.
Right, Tendril comes pouring in the
There
room.
you go, Master Tendril. One bird cage.
I'm going to try and cast that Detect Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not going anywhere near it.
Has it got any minuses on this?
No.
Just a straightforward. So I succeed.
You were running, so you fail. Look, you got a 2. So you can try again. Yeah. You're huffing and puffing.
Right, that's a pass, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So it says that I can detect. Sorry, I had read this before.
Right. Yeah, it does indeed radiate magic, stronger than what is in the background of the house, but not as strong as you would expect from a powerful artifact.
Am I
Inside,
right?
you can see two small figures made of what appears to be white frosting or sugar or salt.
Ooh, sugar.
Am I right in thinking did I get a raise on that?
You did, yes.
So it says that if I got a raise, I know the general type of enchantment. So like if it's harmful or obscurement or miracles, this might be very specific. We might not know.
It's definitely the cursed focus item. You get the feeling that cage is the focus of the curse. I don't know if that helps with that.
Yeah. Okay. I get the suspicion that the interested parties and all, I think might be interested because of what it does. Tinying people. Maybe they were just trying to get more money out of a pint as well, but I doubt it. Are we taking this then, gentlemen? That's what we were here for, really, and we've gone through the paces.
Oh, aye.
Not too.
Well, are you all standing about looking at these depression or hiding in the corner? Well, Lucas is leaning in the corner, bleeding, perhaps.
Is there any way of healing him up, actually? Oh. No, I have relief. I don't have, which is the exhaustion thing, not about healing.
You have the healing skill.
Right, okay. So I'm going to basically order some people in here to go and pick up that crate and anything else, the cage and anything else that looks nice, but maybe put it in a bag or try and find something so you're not touching it, perhaps. And then I'll go back out and try and heal him.
It'll take 10 minutes to do a healing attempt. Right, so anybody else stepping in this room, or everybody's paralyzed with indecision, or
No.
Bert's looking for the
I'm
cat?
going to the room.
I am stepping back over towards this corner just by the door, just in case a short exit is required.
Right, well, Bert goes into the room.
If you want to borrow a sack, Bert, I've got one.
I'll roll me healing. I've targeted him. Well, it's a blue dice, so that means it's a failure. I don't know why.
Court, you're closest. Can you please make me a notice roll?
Okay.
Right, Bert, you step over, you peer at the cage. Inside the cage is a bunch of what looks like white powder, and there are two figures inside the cave. Tiny, perfect figures that look like they're made out of salt. But both of them are splayed in the form of people who've been killed.
Plenty of that.
And there's a whole bunch of white dust in the cage.
I wonder if there's something like we could put over the cage, like a cloth that you do for proper bird cage.
Like this empty sack I've just offered you.
Oh, that'll do nicely.
There you go.
I might try
hang
and
on.
look more into it. But...
It occurs to me, if there's two people in this cage. Now, just go with this, because this is like a bit out there. We have potentially two patrons as a result of if we pull this off.
Yeah.
Sadly, one patron you'll have to choose one because they both want the cage.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. These figures inside the cage, could they be some sort of transmogrified person or whatever that has something to do with one or other of these patrons, and basically whichever patron we go with sort of gets a leg up on the other one, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. Well, I was saying is yes.
Andy, do you want to make a common knowledge roll, please?
I would love to.
Court, you hear metallic winding and the snapping of timbers from downstairs, peeking over the side of the hall. Andy, you haven't got a clue. You see the metal man embedded in the floorboard below, halfway through, and he looks like he's attempting to tear himself free of the fact that he's trapped halfway between the floors downstairs.
Right, I'll let the guys know.
Time to go.
What do you do, Bert?
Grab the bloody cage and let's get out of here.
Put the sack over the cage and grab the cage and get ready to go.
Right, as you lift the cage up, there's a woof noise, and a whole bunch more of the white powder falls out of the bottom of the sack. You hear a strange noise downstairs that may have been in the wardrobe that you were in earlier.
I can't remember what was in the wardrobe.
Dead person.
There was a dead person that Andy twacked a bunch of apparently cursed rubies from.
It's a vicious Roma.
I'll assume that you had your detect arcana up because you'd focused it on that. You noticed that the general ambient level of magic in the house has dropped significantly.
Dropped,
like to
I shall
a
point that
background
out.
level.
But I'm trying to do a heal, so I might be a little bit distracted.
It takes 10 minutes to do a heal.
Yeah.
And the metal man is apparently tearing himself free from where he's embedded in the floor down below.
Might be an idea to do that heal when we get out of here.
Well,
I know that's not an ideal situation, especially.
I've put a plaster on him so far, giving him a small saltine cracker.
But I just don't fancy fighting that thing again.
No, not really.
Right, so is the plan to run downstairs past the metal man and sharp exit out the back by any chance?
Pretty much.
Part of me wants to kill the metal man because, I'm Batman.
Well, is that what is? Just tell me what the plan is, and I will tell you what you need to do, what you need to roll, or
I will follow the chaps. If the chaps want to do a legger, I will do a legger. But if half of the chaps want to kill the bad guy, I will be all in it.
Obviously, I'm not a gentleman who prefers a fight, so I'm quite happy to make a swift exit now that we have the item that was required. However, on his way past, he might, nab a few of these glass jars and bottles and anything he can get his sticky bits on.
Will I respect that, old man? Have a volleyball.
Thank you.
I've got a desperate need to rescue that wounded cat.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal some cards, and then we're going to do a dramatic task to see if you can get out of the house before the metal man can free himself, and while Tendril can swipe a load of alchemical components, and while Bert can run into the bedroom where the metal man is actually embedded in the floor, and rescue the unconscious cat. Yes?
Before you do that, can I say that I will help Bert get the cat, but I will not acknowledge that I'm helping Bert get the cat. I don't like cats; they're horrible creatures. But I will help Bert get the cat because I'm that kind of guy.
Because you're Rat Man.
Catman.
Right.
I look over Andy rub my chin and go, be ashamed if the house comes.
Oh dear! Oh God! Right, if you draw a club, your roll is at -2, and if you fail, there's a complication. So everybody needs to make an athletics as you run for it.
Bollocks.
And Magnus, you're up first, and you're at -2 because you are in a club.
Right, and I intend to use fleet-footed.
Mm-hmm. And what does fleet-footed do?
Fleet-footed is increases pace by 2 and running die increases by 1 step.
Right, well, I'll allow that to cancel out the -2 for the for the
Right.
the club, because basically there's holes in the floor now when you're running past the beast. At least Bert's running past the metal man, as is Lucas. So you're not grabbing anything, so you just leg it. So can you give me an athletics roll? Straight up. Right, that's a 1 success. So you dash towards this thing, sliding round the stairs and running for it. Court, you are on a straight athletics roll because you're on hearts. Oh, it's a
I
failure.
think I'll
Right, that's a success. So it's 2 successes. Court bounds down the stairs behind him. The crunching and the whirring of gears gets louder. But you run into the room. You see the metal man's half buried in the floor. The cat still lies unconscious. It's just next to the metal man. It's possibly can reach you. Can you make me athletics roll, please, as you run towards him and try to scoop up the cat?
What's his minuses?
Because I am the guy who's pretending not to like cats.
It's a 4. So as you do, the arm reaches out and it goes to grab your ankle, but you actually jump over the top of him and jump over the top of the arm and scoop the cat out. Lucas, you are going to be rolling athletics, but you're at -4 because you're on a club and you've got 2 wounds. It'll take the -2 into account already. So that's a 1.
What's a 3? Because it came with speed D6 minus.
Yeah,
2.
you're -2 for the clubs as well. You should have had a -2 modifier.
What was a 3? Oh, Ben, that'll help.
It might help.
Right myself with a pussycat. Oh no! Why doesn't that work?
Because
Put
you
Ben
drag the Benny on your character sheet on top of your athletics skill.
back and put on the select skill. Sorry.
On your character sheet, that's all you do. Okay, have your Benny back. Oh, look at that. Oh, bloody hell. So even with your extra
Can I
amount...
help up and run out the door with him? Because I don't like cats, but I do like cats. But I'm never going to admit that I like cats.
Yeah, so Bert leaps over the arm of the metal man, grabs the unconscious cat, sticks his under his arm. As he comes back, he trips over the metal man's arm. Lucas grabs hold of his arm, steadying him, and drags him downstairs to the back door. So you all run to the back door. We've only got Tendril now. Tendril, you can do this. You're great at athletics.
I am. What's my minus?
You're not a minus, you're on heart, so you've got no minus. It's only if you're in a club there's a complication.
Gentleman's club.
Best club's a gentleman's club.
That's a failure, isn't it?
It is a failure. You need a 4, Tendril, sir. I think it'll be Benny in that.
Yeah, my Tendril, the best Tendril.
Swift as a trout that's trying to get away from me.
Right, so huffing and puffing, you're all standing outside in the back alley, and you didn't fully lock the door, so you managed to whip the lock open and dash outside. You wait, and there's no sign of Tendril, and you're like, oh god, the thrashing gets louder inside, and then finally huffing and puffing, Tendril pops out into the street next to you.
Can I lock the door behind us?
You can.
Will that be thievery?
It will be your thievery, yeah. Oh, look at that. Wow. Yeah, with a loud snap, you snap the chain and the lock shut. And you all bustle, grabbing Lucas under the arms because he's bleeding heavily from his 2 bullet wounds on his character portrait, look. You grab him under the arms and you disappear off into the darkness. Then, where do you head?
Back to that pub.
Yeah, I believe we need to have a small flagon of ale and maybe a pork pie.
Back to the Silver Ale.
With Branson pickle.
Give us a second while we're doing that. I'll be back.
Branson pickle. If we're not eating Branson pickle, I think me and Tendril are going to have issues.
I believe in this world it's called Branstain pickle, for
I
copyright
agree with you there,
reasons.
but let's face it, Branstain pickle is the best of all pickles.
Right, so supporting Lucas under the arms, you managed to get him back to the silver eel. The silver eel has seen several stab wounds in its time, and as you walk in, the barman indicates you to go to the back room, where Tendril can have a go at his healing skill with his bandages and whatnot.
Yeah.
Since you played Cyberpunk, I will sit in a chair that looks really like a butcher's chair, but not butcher's chair, a barber's chair, and let him intend my wounds.
Yeah, success removes 1 wound and a raise removes 2. So he manages to bind you up, and you are feeling much better than you were.
Tendril, please don't kill me.
You have a small cage in a sack. The sack's full of white powder. If you want to make an academic roll on it there, Tendril. It is indeed salt. As you open the bag and have a look inside, the bottom of the bag is full of salt, and any sign of those 2 figures are completely vanished.
Do I have a theory about what happened?
You can have an arcana roll.
Yeah. Is that under spell casting?
Actually, I think that's under academia as well. It is, yes. 5. Yes, it's apparently the old story of the pillar of people being turned into pillars of salt. Presumably, it was something to do with the curse that triggered, and their bodies appeared inside the small cage. And the loose salt in the bottom is presumably where your tiny figures of salt were. A sort of focus for the curse, as it were.
Well, it's obviously not the. Well, it's quite a dangerous artifact, I think, giving to somebody, but.
I was just about to say that. Should we
Yes,
really be handing this over?
Yes, because they'll give us infinite rewards. And at the end of the day, if someone was to tell other people that they're a bad guy, something might happen to them. I'm the red man.
So, cleaning the blood off in a dish of bloody water, the barman sends in several jugs of wine.
I will
Tendril
sample
takes
them.
one of them to himself.
The cork sealed with wax in. He chugs it down to steady his nerves.
Chewing the wax cork. It's some sort of delicious biscuit.
Excuse me, but I was going to say it tastes really bad, as Richie can attest to. If you remember the Halloween party at my house when I tried to eat wax, I will admit to it being a really, really bad idea.
It is an incredibly bad idea. Tendril seems to manage to get it down okay. So now it merely you sit round conspiratorially with the now inert bird cage sitting in the middle of the table. Tendril, you can't pick up any signs of magic from it now that it's been moved. Maybe it's broken the curse or broken the spell placed upon it.
Maybe it's
young Tendril to find someone who will give us the best reward for it, since we have magically broken it. And
I think it might be one of those things that activates when there's a spell in the middle of it, or
I'll turn around to Tendril and go,
used.
do we care?
Well, I'm always intrigued in finding new forms of magic, but
Yes,
it's a little bit dark.
Yes, well,
for
man,
my
if you think about
taste.
it, we will eventually be able to supplant these people, since we are obviously of better breeding than them.
Are we
Would
going
you
to
agree?
are we going to address the three-legged ginger cat in the room? Is anybody going to do a healing roll on the ginger cat?
Reattach its leg.
No, but you
mean-
did stab it and bash it and beat it unconscious.
Go on then.
I think Bert will probably be the man for the job, but I will try
I
to
don't
heal.
seem to have the abilities to touch up cats.
I will use unskilled, but I will let Bert go first before I do unskilled because I will help Bert. Because anyone can wrap a bandage around something stiff, says my wife.
Right, so make your unskilled roll. Bert, what do you want to do? You're cradling this three-legged starving ginger tomcat in your
Can I
arms.
help?
I can try and help them.
I will help Bert, and I will also give the cat some anchovies.
Right, well, can you make your healing roll, or if you don't have it, unskilled?
Skilled, but I am using anchovies, which
Yeah.
essentially.
I know, Earl. I know, Earl. I mean the others.
Anchovies.
Is it worth Benny in that?
Well,
See?
what did Tendril? He got a 2. So
Yeah.
Lucas gives him a +1. That's a 3. So he needs another success to help.
Well, hang on. I'll Benny that.
As all of you cluster around the cat,
You don't care about cats.
a 5. Right. So yeah, basically with Magnus holding the cat in place, Tendril manages to wrap some bandages around it, even though he's used to dealing with people rather than small animals. Thank God for 3 people around one small cat. The cat.
I'm not a vet.
The cat comes round and licks.
Tendril.
Yeah, the cat comes around and licks Bert's hands. It looks like it's going to be okay, but you give it a small, like, saucer of wine, which it eagerly seems to drink.
All the best cats enjoy wine.
Yeah, so
My wife cats enjoy ham.
right, so
I'll give
as
some
you,
meat for meat pie.
it seems like an awful waste, Tendril, giving a cat a meat pie, but
I'll give him another vol. When he eats the when he gives the mint pie, I'll reward him with a vol-au-vent. The prawn vol-au-vent with the highest quality creamy prawn jus possible. It's a story from one of my father's estates.
right. So as you sit around with your three-legged cat, drinking wine and looking at this bird cage, how have you decided who you're going to hand it to, or are you going to hand it to no one, or destroy it, cast the foul thing into a river?
Don't be stupid. We can get a bloke who will help us, or a lady who will help us. But sadly, I do not know enough about mages because they're all horrible, evil people. Apart from my friend Tendril.
Well,
So
I'd
will say, Tendril, I think you should decide, my friend, because you are wise in the ways of the mage. Would
So
you
which
not
one?
agree?
Of course.
Which one is the Grey Mouse's patron?
Let's ask that. Because if one of these is the Grey Mouse's patron, we will definitely go with that because he's the man. The man.
Yeah. Okay. Let everybody else speak, Al.
I do have connections if we wanted to do anything with other magic users, of course. But while I do think it's a nasty item, it's we have made a semi-agreement, and let's face it, pork pies aren't free. So, the reward would be the payment.
Well, one of them I know, I don't know if it was the previous session, found out was the patron for the Grey Mouser because it would like go into different worlds, because that might sound like fun.
Ningobel is because you'd made a roll. Ningobel is the sorcerer who has the caves of Ningobel that leads to all times and spaces. Shilba is the one who has Shilba's hut that strides amongst an enchanted hut on giant chicken legs that strides around the swamps outside of Lankhmar.
Tendril will do a bit of a Homer Simpson moment and just go, giant chicken leg.
I'll turn around and say, I don't think she's going to let you eat her giant chicken
No,
legs.
no, let's go with the other chap then.
I
And
think it's
let's
jealousy
face it,
got
if he has access to any time and anywhere in time and space, so to speak, just think of all the cuisines you could
Yes,
get.
yes, it's a delicious idea. Give that man one small unsalted nut.
I give
Oh,
Volavant.
thank you so much. I shall treasure it always.
I reward him with Volavant because I realised that the tendril's idea of reward is somewhat lower than the idea of anyone with the appetite for small mountain.
Right, so you make the arrangements and you meet Ningorble of the Eyeless Fix, who positively shakes like watching Tendril eating one of those delicious crab cakes that are expensive down by the docks. Who positively shakes with anticipation as you give him the small cage, and says, "This is wonderful, oh magnificent sons! I shall add this to my collection, a collection that has not been seen of any of the realms of man or gods. And feel free to call upon me." And as you see his little eyes come out on reptile stalks from his hood and then disappear back inside, he takes the cage and gleefully heads off and disappears into darkness as if he just vanished himself. So now what you have is you have a patron die. So you can call upon your patron for favours.
Yeah.
TM,
Okay. And what that will do is you start with the D12 die and you make a roll, and it's as if you're doing the patron will do the help action for you. So you can make it on any roll. You can just say, I'll call for aid from my patron. But each time it's successful or it fails, the die goes down by one type. And if it critically fails, then something bad could possibly happen. So you can call on his aid. You can call on Ningol's aid to aid you in skills, or aid you in spells, or healing, or possibly an item that you may need to achieve an objective.
I'm going to assume that I'm not allowed to do it just for a bag of crisps.
No, you can you can absolutely do it for a bag of crisps.
I never got a bag of crisps.
But you have to roll the die, and each time you use it before you do a job for the patron, which builds the die type back up, the die gets smaller and smaller. And if you fail, then you have earned the disfavour of your patron, so you may get a minus on the skill roll as per the help action. Or if you critically fail, then bad things can possibly happen.
Rich, you know I'm rich. Could I spend an inordinate amount of my money to have my my pockets full of random food to keep him happy?
Absolutely. Are you gonna give him the Pavlov's dog treatment?
Yeah, I will basically train him to be a good mage. It's like, oh, you did something I like. Have a Volavant.
Right.
Oh, it's tasty.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got plenty of money. So yeah, you have completed No Small Crimes in Lankhmar. The Metal Man does not come out and go on the rampage and kill a whole bunch of innocent people. So that's good. Perhaps it was programmed to stay in the house and guard that room. And now I'm going to try and do something I've never done before.
I need to do something.
Confirm advances.
No,
Oh, look at that. You've got little stars and flashes.
I want to start. I want to randomly buy Bert a cat. I literally spend my money to have a guy randomly deliver a cat to Bert.
Just turn up and hand him a cat. Bert's got mostly street cats.
Yeah, but I'll make it like a cat that is ginger and evil called Greeble. Because that was my personal favourite owned cat. I will send him a ginger cat called Greeble, and it will be frightened and angry at all times, but will love him unconditionally. And I will also spend it, if I need to spend pennies, I will, to send Court a large flagon of ale and a prostitute at regular intervals.
Right, okay.
I spend all of my influence on helping my mates, but I will never admit to it because I'm the Rat Man.
He's the Rat Man.